Greg Enemy, rapper, producer, visual artist, sometimes singer, all around fly dude. Yeah, that, that's a good introduction. Like when I first started doing stuff, everybody asked me, like, what is Greg Enemy? Um, and there's a really simple definition, and there's like several complex definitions. The simple definition is, I just think it's a cool name. Like it just sounds cool and it looks nice on flyers. But the complex, I would say, is it's kind of a play on myself because when people meet me, they realize I'm a very nice guy, and then they wonder like, well, the name enemy doesn't really fit with the nice guy persona, and that's kind of like a little bit more of the duality that I like to bring to people's attention. Another definition of it is it's just on some like regular MC shit, like I'm better than you, you know what I'm saying? Like when I came out, I wanted to have a name that meant I'm better than everybody, which Enemy does perfectly. Like Greg Enemy basically means that I consider myself standalone and everybody else is my opposition. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that I don't like anybody because like the homie the Phantom, like Craig Smith, like Dutch Newman, like they are my boys, but when I'm doing my music thing, when I'm performing, that's like the mindset that the rapper has to have. So I took it on as my name. My real name is Greg Henry. And when I wanted to come up with a good rap name, I didn't want it to stray too far from my real name. So Enemy just kind of flows the same way Henry kind of flows. Um, so yeah, it's like a whole list of different definitions of why I chose a name, and I was like, well, if it's that many, then that means it's a perfect name. And it's just a name that I don't get tired of hearing because it's so close to my real name. But yeah, that's pretty much it. My favorite way of trying to describe it is probably complex simplicity. I like I like my production to sound complex, like it took a lot to do, but in essence, it's really some basic stuff. Same thing with my lyrics. Like I always try to use really interesting like flow patterns and rhymes and rhyme scheme and try to connect something I say at the beginning of the verse with something I say at the end. But when I say it out loud, it sounds really simple and it sounds like it just works perfectly. So I think though like that is the best way to describe it. Um, I'm really I wouldn't say I'm heavily sample based, but I'm really good at sample based production and I'm really good at like that old school feel of just like hard drums and something simple, something to rattle trunks and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, I would probably say one of the biggest influences was my mother. Uh, when we were younger, she always made sure that we were a little bit more cultured than most people. So like you would get anything like from just musical standpoint, you would get anything playing in the house like from Sade, Marvin Gaye, Commodores, to stuff like Dean Martin, Mel Torme, Frank Sinatra, a bunch of jazz. My grandfather was a big jazz dude, so it was like um, Thelonious Monk and Miles Davis and stuff like that in the house. Just a whole wide range of stuff, like even like Zydeco, like Cajun music and stuff like that. So we were always exposed to a whole lot of different styles and forms of music. So it was never really a preference for any particular one, which has given me a lot of um, which has made me a lot more receptive to a whole lot of different styles without even thinking about it. Um, I kind of got started rapping when I was about maybe 10 or 11. Um, I had a lot of older cousins. I'm the oldest of my four brothers, three brothers. I'm the oldest of four, I mean. Uh, and I didn't have anybody to look up to other than my older cousins, and they was always playing, whatever was hot at the time. Um, which was everywhere from like Jay-Z or The Roots or Common or Crucial Conflict, UGK, Master P, everything. Um, and so I would say I got started rapping at around 10 or 11. What we used to do is me and my older cousin Kristen, who's no longer with us, um, we would do like the old school technique of, you know what I'm saying, like listening to the song, and then like pausing it in between and trying to write down the lines and whatnot. Until we got the whole verse, so we knew the song, because back then they ain't have no like lyrics.com or nothing, so we had to like write them down. And from that, like we used to do that with like Bone Thugs and Harmony and stuff. So from that, like subconsciously, I learned the format of how to write a verse. And like I always tell people, like the person who taught me how to rap originally was Busta Rhymes, because I used to try to do that. Like I did that format with the whole When Disaster Strikes album, and it just taught me the basic 16 bar hook, 16 bar formula for writing a verse. Until one day I applied that to my own words, and then I started writing verses from there. Um, Another thing I think had a lot of influence on me was we never like we as when we were younger, we moved around quite a lot. Uh, like we lived in some hood areas, and then we lived in some suburban areas. So I always uh play off of that duality. I think in one of my songs, Top 10, the first verse starts, "I'm part hood, part suburban, but under my hood, you notice everything's working." So I always like keep that juxtaposition in me and in everything I do.
They ask if I ever whack, never that blackjack, never whack, just turn the blackjack age. And never judge a book by the front cover, back cover, jacket black, cause I'm way past that page. I'm like the public speaker of the house, all the tenants is the Senate, transmitting the illest waves to the stage. And I send them back on their merry way, circulate the energy. I should probably do this every day. When I say, put your hands to the sky, they happily oblige. They under my spell and they don't even ask why. Master of ceremonies, I'm just doing what I like. Just so happens what I'm doing, keep it moving all night. Fuck, consider me the missing link. You see how ruling ain't as easy as you think. Some dudes drop forces, but I'ma show you how to get them open. So put away the manual to get with the program. People in the building from the front to the back. If y'all unsure and don't know how to act, all my folks to the left, I show y'all the protocol. Folks to the right, I show y'all the protocol. Yeah, you go moving like that. Just a couple of rules to get the people on track. To your dance party people. Hey, I need to see some dance party people. Why they never heard you? Cause you never got people to step in and every stage you be on. And square is the theme song. Classes make me have to reevaluate the lacing. Top tier make me have to push the rappers that they places. And basically, that's all I'm trying to do. Make you bad. Watch me hustle when I lie to do. And they still ain't got a clue. Guess it needs to stop for me to prove. Not every single rhyme of mine will probably make you move. Hey, cause I just taught you all to know. The flow is oxycontin cause the content is dope. Really just trying to beautify mine. South Force land, so you better watch the brainstorm in the forecast. And while y'all doing that, make sure that you do your dance. And when I say hands up, I need to see every hand. And keep yourself ahead, now you're in the know. To the game, it's hella easy when you playing with the gold. People in the building from the front to the back. If y'all unsure and don't know how to act, I'ma vote to the left, make noise, vote to the right, make noise. Yeah, now keep it moving like that. Just a couple of moves to get the people on track. Do your dance party people. I need to see some dance party people. How y'all like that?